let our neighbors know we're going to be out in your backyard at 2 a.m. in the morning, but we're giving you advance notification and we're giving you a number to call if you have a question. And here's why we're doing the work and here are the benefits, right? So that they know the full story.
Hi, I'm Steven, Amtrak CEO and frequent train rider. Welcome to All Aboard with Steven. Hi everybody, I'm Steven Gardner, Amtrak CEO, and welcome to All Aboard with Steven. I want to introduce Danelle Hunter, our Senior Director of Community Engagement. Hi Danelle.
Hi Steven, how are you doing today?
Great, how are you?
I'm excellent.
Well, it's wonderful to talk to you. Tell me about yourself. How long have you been in Amtrak?
I've been at Amtrak for 13 years.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, we started not too far apart from each other.
I know, and I feel like for a large part of my career, I was always reporting up to you, which has been great. So.
Yeah. Well, it's been great to work with you. So describe for us a little bit about the community engagement role. What are you leading for Amtrak?
Yeah, so the Community Engagement Office is a really exciting office here at Amtrak. It was launched in June of 2022. It was really a project of a lot of care, I think, within the organization to make sure that we were creating bonds and developing and nurturing the relationships that we have with communities all across the country. And so right now there are 3 of us. We're a small team, a mighty team. I am located at Great 30th Street Station in Philadelphia. I have an employee in DC, and I also have an employee in Chicago, and soon we'll be bringing somebody on in New York. And really this is about connecting with communities, making sure that the communities that we serve have a voice, that they know about all of the projects that we are advancing to modernize the railroad, improve our infrastructure, make our stations really great places that can be weaved into the fabric of communities. But it's also a really important part of our overall employee engagement too, right? Getting our employees to go out into communities, volunteer their time, show the communities that we're committed to them and that we're supporting them. So it's been, a little over a year, but it's been a really great opportunity, and I just am so excited about what the future holds for the Office of Community Engagement and Amtrak in general as it relates to how we continue to engage with our communities.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. It's really great to have you in that position, and I think about all the transformation we have going on at Amtrak, where we are transforming our assets, our big infrastructure, our fleet, our stations. We're transforming our workforce with the thousands of folks we've hired and the new generation of people we're bringing into the industry. But we also are transforming communities, both literally in changing the built environment and also economically and culturally by creating better mobility and opportunity for people to be part of these big construction jobs or be part of the Amtrak workforce or the many businesses that rely on the mobility we provide to grow and do their business. What made you want to take on this role?
Well, I will say, I've been with Amtrak for 13 years. I've worked in a number of different roles, but really when I think about my career at Amtrak, every single role that I've had, I've either weaved in some form of community engagement or I've been tasked to weave in some form of community engagement. And so I think it's just been a natural evolution of my career here. It's something that I'm passionate about. I certainly believe folks should have a voice, right, and a seat at the table. And I like being that liaison between Amtrak and the community and bringing back that feedback and making sure that we're taking that into consideration. We're advancing a number of major projects, right? And our projects, even the small ones, have an impact because they're going through backyards, right, of people who live right along the railroad right of way. And I feel like it is our responsibility to let our neighbors know we're going to be out in your backyard at 2 a.m. in the morning, but we're giving you advance notification and we're giving you a number to call if you have a question. And here's why we're doing the work and here are the benefits, right? So that they know the full story as to why Amtrak is doing this and can see the bigger picture to drive toward that transformation, right? We are making these improvements for the communities that we serve.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And so often I think people don't relate to the work that's in the field because they haven't been given the context or understand why that's an important investment. And we all wish that there were never any impacts associated with building things. We all know whether it's in our own homes or in our other parts of life, that often there's a little pain before you get to the gain.
That's right.
And we have to do our best to manage that, but also help people see the benefits that come as part of this investment over time.
And what we've heard, Stephen, we introduced starting to send out these postcard notifications, right? Mm-hmm. So traditionally Amtrak has sent out letters to let people know what's happening. We thought, let's change it up a little bit. We're sending out postcards, so a little more visually appealing. And while we are doing work that is impactful, folks appreciate the advance notification. Like, I can't tell you the number of calls that I've received and my colleagues, like, thank you for letting us know this is happening, right? Yeah. And giving us a direct number to call if we have a question. I think it's a level of respect we're showing to members of the community. And they appreciate it. They don't love all the construction activity, but they appreciate knowing about it in advance. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Can you tell us some more about how people have reacted to the office and the work that you've been doing?
Yeah, I think, I think it's been pretty positive. Yeah. I think that Amtrak is a very large organization, right? And we're all over the country. And when we show up, people are like, whoa, Amtrak is here. We were in an event in Havre de Grace at the end of the year, right, in December. And this is for the Susquehanna River Bridge replacement project. And there were a number of people who were just like, whoa, Amtrak came to our event. They were happy to see us there. They wanted to take pictures we had an Amtrak, like a blow-up train there, right? They want to take pictures of the train. They wanted to really engage with us to learn about the work that we're doing at the Susquehanna River Bridge, right? And so that's why we're here, to show up in these communities so they know who we are in physical form, like Amtrak is here, and we'll take your questions. And sometimes the questions have nothing to do with an infrastructure project. A lot of times it's people just saying, oh, hey, my father used to work on the railroad, or, we love, that's great. We love to hear those stories too, right? Because that helps form that connection. But yeah, I would just say generally folks are pretty excited to see us. They are happy to have us come out. They want to, have us come out to more things, right? And we're happy to do that. We will go where the railroad will take us.
Amtrak giving back. That means building trust within a community partner.
It's going to be one word, but I'm going to say it 3 times. Commitment, commitment, commitment. I have not heard them tell me no, Mr. Schaefer.
Yeah, it just shows the school community, whether it's our students, our staff, our close friends of the school, our families, friends of families. It just shows the commitment that Amtrak has made to us as a school, our neighborhood, the surrounding neighborhoods. They've committed their people, they've committed their time, and they've committed their resources and energy into us. And that really tells us that this is something they're vested in.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I can imagine for many communities it's unusual because we haven't been in an era of building big things for a long time.
That's right.
Most of what Amtrak operates, we inherited. It was built 100 years ago, and our job has been primarily to maintain it and operate it. But now because of the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the funding and all the strong interest in rail, we have this opportunity to take those assets and bring them into the 21st century and modernize. And so that's a really different profile for the company than sort of just maintaining and using assets you have. And so it is a different engagement for the company in these communities, and it really gives us an opportunity to tell our story and in the process help create new stories in the communities we serve.
Which is really the reason why it's so important to have folks working in community engagement, right? Because to your point, Amtrak hasn't built anything this big in so many years, right? And so people aren't necessarily thinking of us as builders, right? But that's exactly what we are right now. We are building and transforming the railroad around this country. And so being able to be in those communities, informing communities about the work that we're doing, I think is vitally important so folks understand the benefits and why we're out there and what we're trying to build for the future of the country. Jobs, mobility, sustainability, all these things are just so important. But if no one's out there telling the story, it gets lost. And so it's just really important to have folks really out there on the ground in the communities, answering questions, informing, and doing good work to support, our neighbors.
Well, it's great. We're lucky to have you doing that, and communities are too. If people want to learn more about the Office of Community Engagement, where would they go to find out information?
So we have a website. We're up on Amtrak.com. You just type in Office of Community Engagement. We also have a email address, Office of Community Engagement at Amtrak.com. And you will probably see us, in a city or town near you soon, because we are actively engaged in getting out on the railroad.
Yeah, well, that's great. One last thing I think that probably some of our viewers might want to understand. A lot of your work is in the places where Amtrak owns assets and is responsible for the infrastructure of the stations. That's a relatively small part of our whole network, right?
Yeah, that's right. So we do, like I said, we are really staffed right now where we have the majority of Amtrak assets, where we're investing and improving on those assets. But that's not to say that we will not go to areas where Amtrak might not own the infrastructure, but we certainly want to support the community and making sure that they understand the importance of rail travel, right? Because there are a whole lot of things that make rail travel really attractive. And we also want to introduce rail travel to a lot of folks. So that's where I think, we utilize and kind of amplify our support from nonprofit organizations as a way to introduce folks to the railroad. And we can do that a lot in areas where maybe we don't have a tremendous amount of assets, but we certainly have our trains, right? And we can introduce folks to the railroad that way as well. So it's less informing about the infrastructure improvements, but more about the general benefits of rail transportation.
Well, and I think you've been able to really connect with a lot of our employees who both are interested in giving back in the communities that they come from or places we serve, but also excited to spread that mission of rail travel and help people connect to Amtrak and the opportunities to travel by train and all the great things that come with the railroad.
Stephen, you are blessed to have an employee base that is so passionate about giving back. My team has put together a number of volunteer engagements. Some are during the week, some are during the weekend. And there was some feeling that, if it's a weekend event, maybe folks might not be so inclined to volunteer. We get the same level of engagement and enthusiasm no matter what day it is. And I just think it's the culture here, right? We have built a culture of employees who love what they do, they love sharing it, and they love giving back to the community, which I think is a tremendous accomplishment of you and the entire executive leadership team.
Well, it's a great asset for the company and one that is truly what sort of makes us powerful and able to, I think, accomplish a lot of good. So, and having been to some of those volunteer events, you can just feel the energy of folks. So it's great. It's great. Well, it's been wonderful to talk to you. Again, we're so lucky to have you leading this work and really excited about all the great things you're going to help the company do here as we build for the future.
Yep. Thank you so much.